Let's start with something unusual. Robert Duvall's first film role is unforgettable, and he barely speaks. In To Kill a Mockingbird, he plays Boo Radley. No big moment written for applause. Just a presence that quietly rearranges the emotional balance of the scene. That's not a debut designed to impress. It's a debut that tells you how this actor works. Duvall was never interested in announcing himself. He didn't play intensity. He contained it. Watch how he stands, how he waits, how he listens. His characters often seem to arrive with a full past already lived, and they don't feel obligated to explain it to you. From the beginning, his strength wasn't transformation. It was conviction. You don't map American cinema of the last 50 years without running into Robert Duvall. In The Godfather, Tom Hagen isn't the loudest man in the room. He's the one who understands how power actually moves. In Apocalypse Now, Kilgore is calm where chaos should be. That contrast is what makes him unsettling. In Network, he embodies institutional coldness without turning it into caricature. These aren't showy performances. They're structural ones. Remove them, and the films collapse. If one performance explains Duvall completely, it's Tender Mercies. Nothing here reaches for sympathy. The character doesn't ask to be understood, and Duvall doesn't push him toward redemption. The restraint is the point. Emotion appears only when it has no other choice. That's not minimalism for style. That's discipline. Even when Duvall isn't the focus, the film often orbits him. In Days of Thunder, he grounds a glossy, overdriven movie with practical authority. In A Civil Action, he brings gravity to a system that would otherwise feel abstract. In Falling Down, his presence becomes a moral counterweight to the chaos on screen. He doesn't steal scenes. He stabilizes them. Duvall didn't become a legacy figure waiting for tributes. In We Own the Night, he's severe, restrained, and current. In The Judge, he avoids easy sentiment, even when the material invites it. He aged inside the cinema, not outside of it. He worked with major filmmakers and alongside dominant screen personalities, and was never overshadowed. Across films with Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, Steve McQueen, Gene Hackman, Clint Eastwood, and others, Duvall didn't compete for dominance. He adjusted the temperature of the room. That's harder. There's another side of Robert Duvall that often gets flattened in retrospectives. His comfort with authority and how uneasy he makes it feel. In The Outfit, authority is procedural. Duvall plays a man who believes order is not optional. It's a mechanism. The performance is stripped of psychology. Decisions aren't debated. They're executed. Violence becomes administrative. That's what makes it chilling. 15 years later, in Colors, that same instinct mutates. Here, authority is institutional, brittle, and under siege. Duvall's veteran cop isn't idealized. He's experienced, pragmatic, and increasingly aware that his methods no longer guarantee control. The film doesn't ask us to admire him. It asks us to observe the cost of staying functional inside a system that's already failing. And then there's The Lightship, directed by Jerzy Skolimowski, one of Duvall's most quietly unsettling performances. Trapped in a confined space, power becomes abstract. Leadership turns into a moral problem. Duvall plays dominance without volume, menace without display. He doesn't escalate, he waits. The tension doesn't come from action, but from the certainty that he understands the situation better than everyone else. Taken together, these films show something essential about Duvall. He was never interested in likable authority. He was interested in functional authority, and in what it costs to maintain it. His work behind the camera deserves far more attention. In The Apostle, faith is treated as lived behavior, not ideology. In Assassination Tango, masculinity and aging are observed without irony or apology. These films aren't fashionable. They're personal, rough-edged, and sincere, qualities cinema rarely rewards. Robert Duvall didn't chase relevance. He didn't simplify himself for the audience. He trusted that if a character was built honestly, silence would do the rest. And most of the time it did. Robert Duvall never tried to represent an idea, a generation, or a moment in history. He represented people, flawed, limited, often stubborn, rarely eloquent. People who don't explain themselves well. People who carry their choices quietly. That's why his work doesn't age with trends. It ages the way faces age, the way voices change, the way certainty erodes. He didn't build a legacy out of speeches or transformation. He built it out of consistency, of showing up, standing his ground, and trusting restraint. Robert Duvall didn't ask cinema to look at him. He asked it to leave him alone long enough to exist. And that's why, even now, long after the scene ends, he's still there,